The Northeast Dubois School Board is closing in on approving a budget for next year. More on that coming up. Plus, the city of Huntingburg will soon be looking for a new water superintendent. And Mark Stedzik talks Ferdinand Folkfest on tonight's edition of Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. In your news, a pair of sisters, one from Spencer County, the other from Pike County, faced numerous charges after they led a number of law enforcement agencies in a car chase that spanned across 3 different counties yesterday afternoon. Indiana State Police say just after 4 p.m., they, along with a Pike County Sheriff's deputy and Indiana conservation officers, responded to a residence located along South 3rd Street in Velpen to investigate a possible intruder. When officers arrived, they found the front door of the residence open. Police say a quick search revealed that no one was inside of the residence, but drug paraphernalia was in plain sight. The homeowner, 47-year-old Tina Winchell, was detained while a trooper left the residence to obtain a search warrant. Police say Winchell's sister, 52-year-old Lisa Schaefer of St. Meinrad, later arrived at the residence. According to police, Winchell grabbed her 3-year-old daughter, jumped inside of Schaefer's car, and fled. Schaefer, who police say was driving the vehicle, refused to stop while being chased by a Pike County deputy and an Indiana conservation officer. Schaefer led police down several back roads between Velpen and Huntingburg, driving nearly 100 miles per hour at times, and on several different occasions attempted to ram the deputy's car. Officers with the Dubois County Sheriff's Department and Huntingburg Police joined the pursuit at County Road 400 West and 12th Street just to the west of Huntingburg. Huntingburg Police say the chase continued into the city and then southbound on US 231. Police say Schaefer was passing cars and darting around police vehicles that had gotten in front of it and eventually drove through the parking lot at Cars before exiting back onto the highway and continuing south. While in the Cars lot, the ball joint on one of the Dubois County Sheriff's deputies' cars gave out, disabling it. Also, a Huntingburg patrol car was sideswiped by Schaefer's car south of the city. They eventually stopped on US 231 just south of I-64 near Dale and were arrested. No one was injured during the course of the chase. Meanwhile, back in Pike County, authorities who searched the residence found over a dozen pieces of aluminum foil with burnt residue that tested positive for meth. Police say one of the pieces of aluminum foil was located under the child's bed near some of her toys. Officers also located a glass smoking pipe and glass snorting tubes. Police say there were also multiple open alcohol containers throughout the residence. Winchell was charged with Class D felony counts of maintaining a common nuisance, neglect of a dependent, and fleeing from lawful detention, as well as Class A misdemeanor counts of resisting law enforcement and possession of paraphernalia. Schaefer is looking at 1 count each of assisting a criminal, resisting law enforcement, and criminal recklessness, all Class D felonies. Winchell and Schaefer were taken to the Pike County Jail where they are currently being held on bond. The 3-year-old child was released to a family member. Police say that their investigation is still ongoing. As budget season rolls on, another local school district is taking steps towards next year's budget. Last night, the Northeast Dubois School Board held a public hearing for its 2014 budget. Last night's hearing covered the capital projects and bus replacement funds. The remaining funds of the budget, including the school's general fund, have to be approved by the Dubois County Council per state law. There were no comments from the public on the budget. Northeast Dubois Superintendent Bill Hoaksong says with the general fund of the corporation's budget being controlled by the state and based on enrollment figures, things have been very tight for the corporation money-wise.
When expenses are equaling revenue, it's a very tight budget, and I think that's the case every year. And in fact, we have really no control over the general fund budget because that's all state funded, and that's a per pupil amount. And our enrollment figures came out, and we basically were down 1 student. That you would think that would be a wash, but yet that is less money that we're going to receive just because we're 1 student less than a year ago.
Hoaxsong says the corporation is also struggling in light of other changes that the state has made concerning school funding. He says with the state attempting to have one foundation dollar amount for every school district, the Northeast Dubois Corporation has been getting less funding from the state per student every year. The budget is set to be formally adopted at the corporation's October meeting. Also last night, the board approved teacher contracts for next year. Hoaxsong says many laws had changed in a year, leaving the corporation with a lot of work to be done. Hoaxsong says he is appreciative of the concessions made by teachers during the process and says that negotiations went smoothly over the course of the last year.
I really want to thank the CTA for all the work and their efforts they did, and it was a very good year of negotiations. And basically, we negotiated a zero raise, which I really appreciate because our general fund just doesn't. We just don't have it in there to give it, and so we negotiated that, and I'm just real pleased with everything and all the changes to the contract.
Finally, last night, Hoaxsong recommended and got approval from the board for setting the goal of maintaining current expenditure levels in student instructional and other areas for this upcoming fiscal year. Hoaxsong and several board members were adamant at last night's meeting about not wanting to cut extracurricular programs from the budget to keep things afloat financially, amid concerns from a parent expressed at last night's meeting about a 5% charge on fundraisers that was approved last month by the board. Hoaxsong explained to the parent that the charge is designed to help generate revenue so that some costs can be offset, thus preventing cuts to extracurricular activities. Finally this evening, the city of Huntingburg will soon be seeking a new water superintendent. The city has announced that current water superintendent Tony Traylor has resigned from his job effective Friday, October 4th. City officials say Traylor has accepted a position with Citizens Energy Group of Indianapolis. Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner says the city is appreciative of Traylor's leadership in the water department. He says the city wishes Traylor luck in the future. Traylor says though the decision was a difficult one to make, he says the position he is accepting is one that he feels will help him reach long-term career goals that he has. Traylor has served in various capacities in Huntingburg for 11 years, including his time as water department superintendent. Coming up after the break, your local forecast, sports with Kurt Guxell, and Inform featuring Ferdinand Folkfest coordinator Mark Stedzik. That's all up next here on 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.